What's going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick, Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media outside of Gillette Stadium as the Patriots just wrapped up day 6 of their 2024 training camp, the second in pads, heading into an off day tomorrow, a longer practice. They went over 2 hours, finishing just after 1 o'clock today. A reminder, we're powered by Game Time, so head over to Game Time. Use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Let's talk quarterbacks like we do every single day. Another up and down day for Drake Maye. I think it's still become clear Jacoby Brissett is that quarterback one. I don't think there's any question about it now. And I don't want to say I'm getting worried about Drake Maye. I'll hand it over to you in a second to get your thoughts. But the one thing I do want to say is that at this point, heading into day 6, I tweeted it this morning, I was ready for the Drake Maye practice. I was ready to see, the laser arm, the quick, not the quick decision making, but the athleticism that can turn something or turn nothing into something, things like that, and to kind of string it together every single day. Early on, he struggled and came back even within a practice. Yeah. And then early on, he had a tough day and then came back with a better day. So yesterday, after what I considered to be his worst day, I really was looking for him to come out here and shine. We still haven't had the Drake Maye practice yet that I keep kind of talking about and trying to tell, right? And so, not that I'm worried, but I would have liked to seen a little bit more from him at this point in time through 6 practices. What did you make of Drake Maye today?
Yeah, honestly, early on, I thought he looked the best that he had pretty much in the offseason program, at least for training camp. The accuracy looked a lot better than it had, especially the outbreaking throws. That's been an area where I've really seen him struggle. But then once the intensity started to ramp up, you started to see less consistent accuracy, still not putting the ball in harm's way, which I think is a massive plus for a young guy going up against a lot of good defenders. And I also want to be fair to him, the fact that the offensive line that he's been behind, he's running with more of the 2s, even had a little bit of time with what looked like the 3s today, just I think to get him extra reps. But the pressure happened quickly when they weren't moving the pocket or getting the ball out quick. I think that had something to do with it. But even still, I didn't think that his processing looked quite as controlled as it had before the pads came on. I also spoke with John Saranides for the New England Sports Journal. A lot of experience coaching quarterbacks, so I really defer to him and people smarter than me when it comes to these quarterback matchups. And I got to say, he noted the processing was an issue, and he said that he doesn't really think that Drake Maye is going to be ready until maybe the bye week. It's still going to take some time. So I thought, based on what we'd seen early on, again, before pads came on, this really was the test where we saw, okay, positive signs early. Does it manifest when the intensity ramps up and the pads come on? I don't think we've seen that, so we may start just needing to acknowledge the fact that this is Jacoby Brissett's offense, potentially for the foreseeable future. Nothing wrong with that.
Right, that was the plan all along.
Exactly, that's why they got Jacoby Brissett. They didn't want to have to put Drake Maye in early. I was excited about the possibility of Drake Maye seizing the starting reins maybe during some time in the preseason, but, I'm starting to temper my expectations because of what we've seen out here on the field, and it just doesn't look like Drake is quite where he needs to be to really threaten for that starting quarterback job now that things have really gotten more intense.
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, this was the plan, was for Jacoby to come in and be able to ease Drake Maye into it, so you don't have to throw him into the fire early. And then you get a little excited. You see some non-padded practice in the spring, and you think, wow, this kid can do it. You get urgent. The number 3 pick is here. You want to see the future start now. But I think today, especially from what we saw from Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he wasn't spectacular either, but you can tell that he's more comfortable in the offense, and you can tell that he's a leader of the offense as well. I want to get your thoughts on Jacoby, but one thing I wanted to know first is that there was one play specifically where Jaylen Pul has, I believe it was a false start or a wrong assignment or something along those lines where they might have had too many in the huddle. There was some sort of issue with the offense, and Jacoby was pissed and basically was like, we're going on a lap, we're running around the pole, and they did that. So, little things like that where he's sort of the guy they look to fix that type of stuff. I think that just shows, too, that, he is the quarterback one. He's the guy they're looking to. Juju Smith-Schuster spoke after practice as well, talked about, Jacoby's leadership and how he loves and the fact that he's been a great addition to the team so far. So I think it's clear that, within the next, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the start of, even 5 weeks now, before the start of the season, that Jacoby Brissett is going to be the quarterback of this team to start the season.
Yeah, like when you mentioned the pre-snap operation, the fact that Jacoby was taking accountability and he was like, no, this is not good enough.
Right.
He was pissed. Yeah. And then actually going back to Drake Maye, there was actually a play where his offense had to re-huddle. Looked like Gerard Mayo came on the field and told them to do it again. And that's kind of been a bit of an inconsistent area for Drake Maye in terms of just the process and getting it done smoothly. That is where Brissett, one of the areas where he has asserted himself. I will say this was one of Jacoby Brissett's less impressive practices, maybe his worst. There were a lot of inaccurate passes. With Jacoby, you expect maybe downfield's a bit shaky, but in the short to intermediate, he's usually pretty consistent. Today I saw a lot of passes that weren't catchable, were kind of in places that didn't help out his wide receivers. So, he did have a beautiful throw, I will say, to Hunter Henry when they were working on team drills in the red zone. Fitted into a keyhole with Joshua Bledsoe right there. Also, the connection with Austin Hooper. Every day I feel like you can see that they have played together at some point, because there was one route where Austin Hooper was blanketed in coverage during one-on-ones. Jacoby put it on his back shoulder, and Hooper went up and made the grab. It was a really cool play. So, again, not a great day from Jacoby, but even still, you see more consistency with the offense. Big help that the offensive line has looked very solid for the top unit through 2 days. That's been a big help because, like I mentioned, Drake Maye hasn't had that same luxury. But, definitely Jacoby Brissett in the driver's seat, even if he didn't have his most impressive practice. Yeah,
you mentioned the offensive line as well. David Andrews not out here for the second day in a row, but outside of him, the tackles and the guards have remained the same. Okorafor on the right side with Mike Onwenu, and Caden Wallace on the left side with City So. So they're kind of honing that in, making sure that, they're comfortable with those 5 offensive linemen to start. Nick Leverett obviously at center instead of Andrews, but he's looked solid too. So they're starting to get some consistency there, which I think is solid. You mentioned some highlights from Jacoby. There was another one here too that I saw where he dropped one into like a zone bucket with I can't remember the linebacker that was trailing KJ Osborne, but Christian Gonzalez was at the front. And so, a nice little drop in the bucket for him, the little things like that. But there was a couple from Maye, too. He had a nice crossing route to Jaylen Pul where he zipped it in there with tight coverage on his back. So you see the flashes from both guys, but the consistency is definitely there from
also, Jacoby Brissett.
More.
Oh, I'm sorry. But also, Jacoby Brissett had a beautiful pass after a string of pretty unimpressive reps when they were in the red zone. He had a perfect jump ball opportunity for Jaylen Pul that the rookie receiver came down with. So wanted to make sure I didn't leave that out. But, again, there was up and down. You did see Jacoby Brissett fight back, even if he wasn't super consistent.
Yep, so that's the quarterback report here from day 6 of Patriots training camp. We'll be back on Thursday after the Patriots bye week on Wednesday with all your Patriots coverage. So make sure you tune in here on Patriots Press Pass and read all of our written work at CLNSmedia.com.
Make sure to subscribe to Patriots Press Pass for all your Patriots news and updates on YouTube. And for all our written work, make sure you check out CLNSmedia.com.